ਬਹੁਤ ਬੱਚੇ ਪੋਰਨ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਨੇ ਹਨਾ ਈਜ਼ੀਲੀ ਅਵੇਲੇਬਲ ਆ
once you're in it it's hard to get back out
ਇੱਕ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ easy effort addiction ਲਾਸਟ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪਾਈ ਪੀ ਲਈ I'm enjoying it
everybody trains but who's mentally ready who's actually ready to think you know what
ਕਿ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹਾਰਨਾ ਸਿੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ
you're gonna fall down but you have to get back up again in the boxing they say you can run but you can't hide early 70s ਉਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਆਬਾਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੋੜੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਪੀਪਲ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਮਜ਼ੋਰ ਹੈ ਯੂ ਵੀਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀਕ ਸਾਦੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਬਿੰਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਭੰਨਣੇ ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਫੜ ਲਿਆ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਰ ਵੀਕ ਇਟ ਵਾਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਡੇਂਜਰਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਇਟਸ ਦੀ ਆਪੋਜ਼ਿਟ ਨਾ everybody's got a point to prove to everybody you know what I mean and that's the opposite of what we should be you know my granddad like I said coming from India he had a very hard life as well you know 84 that attack hoya it was the same day as barking kabaddi tournament
ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਥੋੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਤੇ I think somewhere maybe you mentioned that your older brother used to beat you up in the shed ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹ ਹੁਣ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨ obviously ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵਾ how do you see each other now?
no one is normal you know ਜਦ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ we was brought up around fighting you know all our life you know ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਡੈਡੀ ਹੁਣੀ ਛੋਟੇ ਸੀਗੇ so my dad and I was born here but they grew up in Dagenham ਸੀਗਾ ਹੋਮ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਫਰੰਟ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਰੇਸਿਸ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਯੂ ਨੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਜਿਹਦਾ ਉਦੋਂ ਆਮ ਟੋਕਿੰਗ early 70s ਉਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਆਬਾਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਗੋਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਕਿਨਹੈਡ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਗੂਗਲ ਬੂਟ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਦੇ ਕਾਲੇ ਸ਼ੇਵਡ ਹੈਡਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਪੀਪਲ ਉਹ ਪੈਕੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਪੈਕੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੁੱਟਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਡੈਗਨਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਦੋਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਸੀਗੇ 25-30 ਜਾਣੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਫੈਮਲੀਜ਼ ਬਿੰਡੇ ਭੰਨੇ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗ ਲਾ ਦੇਣੀ ਬਲਾ 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 ਫਿਰ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਰੱਖੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੇ ਸੁਪਰਇੰਟੈਂਡੈਂਟ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਲਿਸਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕਦੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਸ਼ੀਸ਼ੇ ਫਰੰਟ ਵਿੰਡੋ ਕਦੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਕਦੀ ਉਹਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਾਸ ਟੈਲਿੰਗ ਹਿਮ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੰਟੈਂਡਰ ਸੀਗਾ ਗੋਰਾ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਹੈਡ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਆ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਪੀਪਲ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਮਜ਼ੋਰ ਹੈ ਯੂ ਵੀਕ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ 'ਤੇ ਪਿਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬਿੰਡੇ ਭੰਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੋ ਯੂ ਨੋ 100 ਬੰਦਾ ਖੜਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਗੋਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਸਟੂਡ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀਕ ਸਾਦੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਬਿੰਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਭੰਨਣੇ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਉਣਾ ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬਿੰਡੇ ਭੰਨਣੇ ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਫੜ ਲਿਆ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਰ ਵੀਕ ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਫੜ ਹੋਇਆ ਫਿਰ ਯੂ ਗੋਟ ਡੂ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਇਟ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਣਾ ਖਿਲਾਉਣਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਣਾ ਖਿਲਾਈਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਹਾਉਂਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਮਾਈਟ ਬੀ ਸਲੀਪਿੰਗ ਵੀ ਮਾਈਟ ਬੀ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਦਿਸ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀਕ ਸਾਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਡੋਨਟ ਨੋ ਹੂਜ਼ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਹ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਉਣਾ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੋਰੇ ਨੇ ਆਉਣਾ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਹਨੇ ਆਉਣਾ ਪਰ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਫਰੰਟ ਇਟ ਵਾਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਡੇਂਜਰਸ ਪੀਰੀਅਡ ਫॉर ਆਪਣੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਜਿਹਦਾ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਗੈਂਗ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਬਰਮਿੰਘਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਬਾਦੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸੀਗੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਸ਼ੇਰੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੁੜੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਸਾਊਥ ਵਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਪਰ ਈਸਟਲੈਂਡ ਸਾਡੀ ਆਬਾਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਰਹੀ ਹੁਣ ਚਲੋ ਯੂ ਨੋ ਕੁਆਇਟ ਅ ਲੋਟ ਪਰ ਹਲੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਊਥ ਵਾਲ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਆ ਸਾਊਥ ਵਾਲ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਵੈਸਟਲੈਂਡ ਉੱਧਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ ਸਲਾਵ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ ਬਰਮਿੰਘਮ ਤਾਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਈਸਟਲੈਂਡ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਰਹੇ ਤਾਂ ਯੂ ਨੋ ਮਾਈ ਡੈਡ ਐਂਡ ਮਾਈ ਤਾਇਆ they had a kind of a different life Jag ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛੋ they had a hard life but you know it was changing but even when I went to school ਸਾਡੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਘੱਟ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਕਲਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੂਰੇ ਈਅਰ 'ਚ 180 ਜਣੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਭੈਣ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ that was all and in the year above X ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਲ ਬੜਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਭਰਾ ਸੀਗਾ he was one so we was used to just being like always around ਗੋਰੇ ਕਾਲੇ you know what I mean like it was you know ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਦੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ they go ਪੰਜਾਬੀ they go to like Sikh schools ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੜਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੋਦਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਕੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਆਤਮ ਅਕੈਡਮੀ ਤੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਗੁੱਡ ਮੇਜ਼ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ other Punjabi kids are bullying us you know but we had fights with gore kale or our parents did more so but ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ you know life is so easy for the kids not just in East London but everywhere ਸਾਡੀ ਆਬਾਦੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵੱਧ ਗਈ we don't appreciate what our grandparents or parents had to go through and they ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੜੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਨਿਆਣੇ that's what they do they don't have problems with gore kale the young kids they have fights with each other
ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ 'ਚ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਕਰੀ ਸੀ ਕਾਫੀ,
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਸਕੂਲ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ, ਵੈਸੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੁਲਿੰਗ ਫੇਸ ਕਰੀ ਆ।
yeah
ਤੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਵੇਅਰਨੈਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ,
awareness that's it
ਉਦੋਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਗੋਰੇ ਹੀ ਸੀਗੇ,
That's it,
ਮਤਲਬ
that's
ਮੈਂ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੱਗ ਬੰਨ ਰਿਹਾ,
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਪਟਕਾ ਬੰਨ ਰਿਹਾ। ਤੇ ਉਰੇ ਵੀ ਵੀਰੇ ਬੁਲਿੰਗ ਕਾਫੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੇਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ?
ਅੱਗੇ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ yes and no when you're strong ਅਸੀਂ ਐਥਲੈਟਿਕ ਮੈਂ ਫੁੱਟਬਾਲ ਖੇਡਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ,
ਹਾਂਜੀ
you know we was active so ਸਾਡੇ ਘੱਟ not ਘੱਟ but like if you're I don't want to say ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਤਕੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਤਕੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਪਰ if you can handle yourself
yeah
you know it's like but every day in boxing 100% you know in my career boxing even general walking down the road when I was little it's ਹਾਲੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਾਲਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ but you know I wouldn't say I had massive
yeah
but in my boxing career I had a lot of racism
okay
definitely in the boxing career definitely
yeah and ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬੀਅਰਡ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਯੂ ਹੈਡ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਕੀ ਉਹ
yeah
ਬਾਕਸਿੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨ ਦਿੰਦੇ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੇਵ ਕਰਨੀ ਪਈ, ਪਰ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਵੀ ਗੋਟ ਇਟ ਓਵਰਟਰਨਡ। ਮੈਂ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ, 4-5 ਜਣੇ ਸੀਗੇ। I was only boxer। ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹਦਾ ਵਕੀਲ ਸੀਗਾ ਅਮਨਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੇਸ ਆਫ ਸਿੱਕੀਲੀ, ਉਹ ਵਕੀਲ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਈਸਟ ਲੰਡਨ ਦਾ, ਸੋ ਹੀ ਵਾਜ਼ ਅ ਲਾਇਰ। ਇੱਕ ਸਾਊਥ ਵਾਲ ਦਾ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਆ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ, ਹੀ ਡਨ ਦ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਸਾਈਡ। ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹਦਾ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਫॉर ਮਿਡਲੈਂਡਸ ਲਾਇਨਸ MMA, ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਕੈਂਪ ਕਰਦੇ, ਉਹ ਇਕੱਠਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ। but I was like the example because I was the only fighter। boxing ਮੈਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗਾ, ਬਾਕੀ ਉਹ like they do their own jobs but boxing ਮੈਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗਾ, so I was like the case study।
ਜੀ
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ I think ਹਰ profession 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ there is some study done 50 years ago ਕਿ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ beard ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖ ਸਕਦੇ, especially health ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਉਹ when you operating someone you know the hair can fall down।
That's right
but I think ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ। there's new technology, there's new things
and like you said 50 years ago ਉਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬਾਕਸਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੇ, there was no need for them to change the rule, ਕੋਈ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ। ਹੁਣ you know we like you said something now you have to change, we live in this country and you know ਸਾਡੀ ਦਾੜੀ is against our religion to shave and ਉਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ we've seen a lot more young fighters a lot more you know ਹੁਣ ਦੇਖੋ 30-40 young Punjabi boys and girls competing across the country।
you know ਮੇਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਿਮਿਲਰ ਮੇਰੀ ਵੀ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਉਰੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਾਰੀ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਯਾਰ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਾਲ ਕਟਾ ਲਈਏ ਜਾਂ ਦਾੜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ੇਵ ਕਰ ਦਈਏ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਜਾਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਸੰਦ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਜਾਂ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਫਰਟੇਬਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਫੀਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੀ ਦਿਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੀ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਚੱਲੀ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮੇਨਟੇਨ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਯਾਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜ ਕੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਾਲ?
I was born ਮੈਂ ਕਦੇ ਬਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਕੱਟੇ,
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ।
ਤਾਂ for me it was like it was part of me regardless of if I liked it or didn't, it was always a part of me, I couldn't change it। you know I never thought about that, I never thought should I cut my hair or maybe if I cut my hair maybe like it was instilled from me from a young age ਕਿ ਬਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਕੱਟਣੇ।
okay
you know that was a part of who I was। you know ਮੈਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ I was a very good Sikh or you know ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ number 1 Sikh ਆ whatever blah blah blah, no but my hair for me was always a part of my identity always।
ਮਤਲਬ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਸੀਗੀ।
ਇਹ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਜੋ ਛੋਟੇ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ your
instill ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਜਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ।
exactly and you know my granddad used to read me stories of like the shaheeds and you know or Sikh history ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਖੀਆਂ ਸੁਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। It was just natural to me, there was no I can never in a point of my life that I think you know what when I get to 20 years old I'm going to cut my hair or when
so it wasn't like ਵੀ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਗਾਲਾਂ ਪੈਣਗੀਆਂ ਜਾਂ ਕੁੱਟ ਪਊਗੀ ਜੇ ਵੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੀ?
ਨਹੀਂ like obviously when you're little my parents kept my hair ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਰੱਖੇ but it wasn't because like I was being scared, it was just you know like even now it's my identity, I would never change it। ਨਾ
100%। ਬਾਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੁਣ ਲਾਈਕ ਯੂ ਆਰ ਬੋਰਨ ਐਂਡ ਬਰੋਡ ਅਪ ਹੇਅਰ ਰਾਈਟ UK ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਅਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਸੈਟਲਡ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ, ਤਾਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਐਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਾ ਜਦ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਅਵੇਲੇਬਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨੈਸੈਸਿਟੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਅਵੇਲੇਬਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਫਿਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੋਈ ਮੋਟੀਵੇਸ਼ਨ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਫਾਈਟਰਸ ਦੀ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਦੇ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਪਾਵਰਟੀ 'ਚੋਂ ਆਇਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਸਟੋਰੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਰੀਜ਼ਨਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੀ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਆ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣ ਦਾ, ਅਤੇ ਮੋਟੀਵੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਕੀ ਆ?
ਗੱਲ you know it's very very true ਕਿ most fighters ਗਰੀਬ ਘਰੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ, you know ਸਾਡੀ ਇੱਕ ਵੱਡੀ ਪਲੇਅਰ you know ਤਕੜੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਘੱਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ they come from poverty that's their way to get rich but everybody has their own reasons ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ it's obviously everybody wants money everybody wants to drive a nice car and whatever
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਹਾਂਜੀ
but for us it was more so ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੌਮ ਦਾ we want to take the sort of identity, Sikh identity and show it to the world because sports which ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਆ today we're 2025 we're a bit more ahead but if we're talking 15-20 years ago ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ and it's not because we are weak or because we don't have the capability or ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਕਮਜ਼ੋਰ ਆ ਹਾਂਜੀ there's several reasons but like you said my dad kind of I was in a fortunate position my dad said you don't have to worry about work or all of this stuff but what you're doing you have to do it properly and when you do it you represent your qawm regardless it wasn't for me like he didn't say to me go to work and then go training he said to me go training first it was the other way around whereas in a lot of Punjabi families I studied I got my education I've got an education but he said to me when I was 18 he said you want to go university I said I want to take a gap year focus on my boxing and then I took a gap year and I'd done that and then I progressed I had to work but my dad said if you're billa phir tenu kaam karna pena but if you're training hard and actually competing and doing something positive fair he said I will support you and he supported me but it was my reason for boxing wasn't necessarily because of poverty but it was because of representation if I do something today and I'll go a certain distance another Punjabi kid's going to come he's going to go even further and then in 5 years time we're going to go even further like I said
example ban gaye
example banna chahiye and we didn't have that growing up necessarily we had everybody knew somebody who's Punjabi who had a big car or had a really nice house but we didn't know any Punjabi who was an athlete or who was a sprinter or boxer in a football team or anything we didn't know we had great Khali ek siga and I was in primary school when he was a great Khali mashhoor hoya singing WWE and we was like oh man Punjabi banda we was happy
that's right
and WWE isn't really proper sports but chalo Fedri he was in
international
he was in the limelight and we kind of associated ourselves to him and I think that's like a lot of the reasons as to why we don't have athletes is because our focus was elsewhere as a community Chirasi Dobad even those years our people wanted they didn't want to focus on that stuff they wanted to get out build a life and kind of be safe for their kids but now we're set I was born here so I don't have to worry about sending money back home or it's a bit selfish but that's not my job anymore because I was born here ਆਪਦੇ ਰੈਸਟ ਸਾਰੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਆ ਗਏ ਹੁਣ ਉੱਥੇ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੋਣ
ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਭੇਜਣੇ
ਭੇਜਣੇ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਹੈ that's exactly so we're in a different position and we are seeing a change slowly every year more athletes not just in boxing but in different sports we're seeing a lot more Punjabi athletes a lot more representation and it's only a matter of time before we're going to see like people from the Punjabi sort of Punjab region the Sikh in like the main spotlight it's only a matter of time
the international level
because we have everything we have all the athletes we have all the genetics everything we have ਸਾਡੇ kabaddi player dekh lo they're just limited to kabaddi because that's their sport and kabaddi is mainly a Punjabi sport but look how strong they are if they had the option if they had the opportunity they could do very very well ਇੱਕ ਮੁੰਡਾ the ਯਾਦਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਚਮਕੌਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ ਆਏ ਸੀਗੇ
what is he
MMA fighter
okay
but ਚਮਕੌਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ ਆਇਆ he come to England he stayed there for like a few months had a few fights he had one 2 weeks ago in O2 ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਸੀਗੇ from Huddersfield ਦੋ ਭਰਾ Pav and Kiru and ਉਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਜੰਪ ਵਾਲੇ but they're MMA fighters ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ 3-4 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਘੁਲਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ they said ਉਹ ਆਪ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ if those Punjabi boys had opportunity if they had opportunity and support he goes they could do very well in MMA like the Dagestani community he goes they will go very well but we didn't have the opportunity when I say we I mean as a community ਸਾਡੇ ਕਈ ਬੰਦੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਆ ਗਏ ਕਈ ਮਜਬੂਰੀਆਂ ਕਰਕੇ they had to go work ਪੈਸੇ ਕਮਾਉਣੇ ਸੀ they didn't have the luxury to compete so for me it's not about money for me it's about sort of creating a pathway for people to see what if Inder can do it then my son can do it or my daughter can do it that's what it's about for me it's not about money like I said I want money I want a nice car whatever but that's not my only reason no
it's about opening doors pretty much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've seen a massive increase slowly over the years.
ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਜਦ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਨੈਸੈਸਿਟੀ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ
Yeah.
I think it's even harder to actually work on yourself.
Yeah,
ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ
definitely.
ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰਨ ਜਦ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਪਸ਼ਨ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ
Yeah,
ਤਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਤਾਂ like you just have to work hard, right?
exactly.
But ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਸ਼ਨ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ
Yeah.
like you could you know
Yeah, you have
live
to-
off your parents.
You have to want it.
Yeah.
You have to want to do it. कि मैं कुछ करना.
And you created the option ਭਾਜੀ I think ਜਿੱਦਾਂ
Yeah.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ I am doing it for the community.
Yeah.
So option ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ ਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਅੱਛਾ ਮੈਂ ਜੇ ਸੈਟਲ ਆ ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ I just sit down, you
That's
know,
it,
I
sit
can
down,
take
ਕਰੀ
this.
ਬਹਿਣਾ, it's-
Yeah,
no, that's not-
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ maybe ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਪੈਸੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਭੇਜ ਰਹੇ ਆ they're
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
busy working 24/7
yeah.
maybe they can't do it because
Yeah.
obviously ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ
Their
priorities
different
ਆ
life, yeah, exactly.
and that's really good ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੋਕੀ settle ਵੀ ਆ ਬਾਹਰ
Yeah.
ਆਪਣੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੇਖਦੇ
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਆ ਆਪਾਂ but they go into a different path which it's not adding anything to community.
देख लो a lot of youngsters, I say youngsters मेरे हाथ दे शराबा पी जानिया, you know, just there's no direction in our community sometimes. But like I said, we're trying to change it for the next generation. I can sit here and complain, say साडे मुंडे शराब पींदे, साडे मुंडे को कोई करदे नहीं, but what am I doing for my community? And that's why the God that we started the class now, another class we did. A lot of the parents, they don't know what boxing is, but apne nyane nu gurdwara bhejde ki, you know, it's a gurdwara first thing, and the second thing is mehnat karde.
ਹਾਂਜੀ
And uto ek paida hundi, because if nobody showed me boxing, how would I know I'm good at it? If I've never played, I don't know,
That's it.
tennis, how would I know I'm good at tennis? I wouldn't know. So we have to give the opportunity to the kids, and like I said, in all the gurukars now across the country, most of the gurukars, should I say, especially the main ones, there is boxing, MMA, wrestling classes, but like I said, I keep saying this, and be something I must stress, that we are seeing a lot more athletes from a young age, you know, because you want to get them into a young age, you want to keep away from the bad stuff, you know, because you can drink and waste your life. You know, when you see someone who's 40, 50, you want to gal karo pub vich baithe hunde, they you know, when you main 20 saal da siga main idda kiti, main udda kita, but then you think to yourself, what now? No, I'm not saying you have to be a world class athlete and earn £1 million and whatever,
yeah
but if you've done something or you have a skill, whatever skill it is, you kind of have a duty to pass it back on to your community, I believe.
Yeah, 100% ਭਾਜੀ
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ what's the word, like we have a duty to give back,
yeah
you know, because like I said, you have a skill but I don't have that skill, and I have a skill that you don't have, and we have to give back, because
Yeah.
otherwise we're just going to go old and take it with us, and then what,
yeah
you know, we're not going to do nothing for nobody.
yeah
But you know, people come, go, that's it.
a long term ਵਾਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਨਾ ਕਿ like at one age you're talking about what you've done,
Yeah,
you know, when you were in your 30s.
we all know somebody.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਤੇ ਉਹ I think ਡੇਵਿਡ ਗੌਗਿਨ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਉਹ ਸੇਮ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ what about today? ਅੱਜ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਪੁਰਾਣੀਆਂ ਮੈਮਰੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਪਲੋਰ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ you can do a lot in 50s 60s 70s I think. Yeah,
and you know, like a lot of bande, they always complain ki gurdwara nahi koi karda, the gurdwara doesn't support nobody, or apne bande chor hai, or apne bande idda, but what am I doing? I can sit on a podcast and say, oh galte ah, this person's wrong, he's wrong, the gurdwara's wrong, the whatever. But if I'm not doing nothing, who am I to point fingers at anybody else and say, what are you doing? You know, I've got to do what I can do. So we all have a duty.
Yeah.
You know, my dad and my dad always told us, and this is another thing that we lack in our community sometimes. My dad and my dad, when you see apna banda, always greet him with nimrata.
yeah
Always speak to him and show him respect, regardless if he's older than you, younger than you, don't, because he's a Singh, he's a Sardar banda, you know, or a lady or whatever. Always show a bit more respect. But ajikal it's the opposite now. Everybody's got a point to prove to everybody, you know what I mean? And that's the opposite of what we should be. We should always look to give, and you know, as a community we have enough problems in our as a whole. You know, especially in this country we have a lot of problems, grooming, you know, forced conversions, or you know, just bullying or whatever. So if we're fighting each other, how are we going to help? How are we going to help each other? Who's going to help? If I'm getting bullied and you don't like me, who's going to help me?
100%.
And it's just petty stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But it's always, and I always try and, you know, I don't like talking about stuff, but we should always try and be positive. You know, we have a duty, like I said, we all have a duty to do something. One thing I've learned in Gurdwara is the younger kids always look up to the older people.
Yeah.
Even if I was an alcoholic or I was the worst person, the kid will still look up to me because I'm older than him. That's just how life goes. You know, you always see someone older and you just automatically look up to them.
Yeah.
So if we can give them some positive thing, you know, tell them just a small thing like make sure you do your homework, make sure you be good in school. You know, it goes a long way. You don't realize how much of an impact that has on a child.
And ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ sometimes it's not just telling them, it's showing them. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਟਾਰਟਿੰਗ 'ਚ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ my mom didn't have issue ਕਿਉਂਕਿ it was a normality.
It was normal.
ਪਰ ਜੇ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪੀਣਾ normality ਹੋ ਗਈ, they won't have an issue. You're not transferring it. Kids are gonna follow that eventually.
And I'm not saying ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪੀਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਮਾੜਾ. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is if you're young, alcohol shouldn't be everything that you just, that's it. Monday to Friday go work, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sharabili, and that's it. There's more to life than that. You know, and like I said, all he bande, they're the ones that complain the most.
100%, yeah.
They're the ones that say, tu ki karda, wadda karda, whatever. It's not about that.
Yeah.
If you can do something good, do it. There's no, like, nobody owns the Gurdwara, nobody owns the concept of seva. Seva is available for everybody. There's not like a tu nahi kar sakda ya main kar sakda ya whatever.
It's not restricted.
It's not restricted to anybody. Yeah. If you have something to do or to give, some people got money, some people got knowledge, some people got whatever. Give it. You know, that's why we've got it. We ain't gonna take it with us.
Sounds like ਕਿ ਮਤਲਬ ਬਹੁਤ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਡੈਡੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਟੀਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਵੱਡਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਹਨਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ like what are some other values that your dad has taught you like ਜਾਂ repeat ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ
yeah like you know growing up a lot of what I am is I say my dad but it's my dad and my ta you know pra yeah and my granddad you know my granddad like I said coming from India he had a very hard life as well you know he took Amrit when he was 40 years old in this country you know he's been involved in the Gurdwara committees for since I think 1960. I think that's when the Gurdwara first opened. He's been involved in the Gurdwara committee, and he's always told me live an honourable life. You know, my granddad met Sant Janaya Singh ji twice. You know, before 84, you know, 84 that attack hoya. It was the same day as Barking Kabaddi tournament. So also then Barking the Kabaddi tournament also then attack ho gaya. So they cancelled the tournament. Obviously, us pata lag gaya. And then everyone went to Hyde Park and, you know, there was protests, whatever. My granddad always said, whatever in your life you do, always be attached to the Gurdwara. Always do your part. He said, even if it's 5 minutes, part jarur kare karo. Every morning, you know, and I do my part every day. Yeah. You know, some days you wake up late, you're tired, whatever, you know, that's normal. But generally speaking, I do my part every day. You know, these are things that I've been instilled from a young age. Like you asked me, did I want to cut my hair or did I ever feel uncomfortable? No, because it was always around me. It was all I ever knew, you understand? And
a lot of the times ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਬੱਚੇ ਸੇਮ ਇਦਾਂ ਲੰਘਦੇ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਰੀ ਰਿਪੀਟ ਕਰਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਨਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਐ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਲਾਈਕ ਵਾਈ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਾਠ ਕਿਉਂ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਯਾਰ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਕਰਾਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ
when I was young as my granddad would do part in the evening and we used to sit there listen to him but my granddad made it fun for us. He wasn't like a Tanu Bana. That makes sense. If you get an 8-year-old child and you force him to do something, he don't want to do it. But je tusi nu pyar na lead karo, he will follow you. So I remember we used to sit to listen to my granddad do part, but it was kind of fun for us. We wanted to sit there with our granddad, you know, because he didn't say to us, "Chalu te aao, you know, come listen, whatever." I don't know how. You know, my granddad is a very knowledgeable man. He probably done it on purpose. I don't know what he done, but it was fun for us. It was engaging for us. We wanted to listen to part. We wanted to sit there with our grandparents and listen. You know, when we was younger, I used to live with my granddad. Well, I still do, but he's moving now. You know, I've always lived with my granddad. So we just had that connection with my granddad. And like I said, if my granddad maybe wasn't Amartari Banda, he was just you know, Sharab, Pinala, maybe that would be my norm. Maybe that would be what's normal for me. But, you know, I was lucky my granddad wasn't. And even now, you know, I live with my granddad. He's got a bit of dementia, but every day he asks me, part, you know, make sure you do your part. You know, he's got dementia, he's old. But he says, make sure you do your part. And he asks me every day to training, are you going gym? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? What are you doing? Because I'll have to tell him every day sometimes and he still forget, you know. Right. But even my granddad, he walks to the Gurdwara. So where I live, you know, near you guys, Auto 7 Kings Gurdwara, 4-5 mil. He walks to the Gurdwara and back.
Okay.
He walks there. Halevi. He's 86, I think. 86. Oh, yeah. Wow. 86 years old, he walks to the Godara and walks back. Because he says, about 10 years ago, my dad said, I'll get you a car. He said, you know what, if I get a car, I'll get lazy.
Yeah.
So he goes on a bus, he might bump into someone, his old friend or whatever. He either goes on a bus or he'll walk there. And he's 86 years old.
Wow.
So being like training and everything was like, it was just normal to me. It's all I kind of knew. And we used to go kabaddi tournaments when I was young and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I'd see trophies of my dad and my dad of boxing ones or kabaddi pictures or boxing pictures, trophies. And so you just automatically love for the sport and like, you know, you appreciate it and you want some for yourself.
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਨਾ ਇਟਸ ਨਾਰਮਲ ਟੂ ਮੀ ਇਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਇੰਟਰਸਟਿੰਗ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਵੈਨ ਯੂ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਫॉर yourself ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਬਾਕਸਿੰਗ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਪੇਰੈਂਟ ਨੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਐਟਮੋਸਫੇਅਰ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਬਟ ਐਟ ਦੈਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮਤਲਬ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਦੂਰ ਤੁਰ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਬਟ ਇਨ ਅ ਲੌਂਗ ਰਨ you are shaping your family. Like yourself, you'll be shaping your kids. Like you are actually doing it. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ it will be easy to pass it on to them.
Yeah, exactly.
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ already a life ਜੀ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਹੈ ਨਾ.
And you lead by example.
Yeah.
You know, we don't understand. As you get older, you realize obviously whatever you do today has an effect on you. Like, you know, 5-10 years time.
Yeah.
You know, it will pay off on. I'm not saying we do good. We should do good to get good back. But just be good in a general manner. Just be a good person, and you know life is good to you. You know,
it'll come back.
It's not even come back. It's just you meet bad people.
Oh yes.
You go down that path.
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ ਆ ਉਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਡਾਕੂਮੈਂਟ
you know ਸੰਗਤ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਿਲਣੀ. You know, if you do good things, obviously it's going to come back to you one day. But you know, you look back sometimes in your life and you think, you know what, some positive action. You think, you know what, I'm happy that happened. Because look how different my life is now.
Come back ਨਾ ਵੀ ਆਵੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੇਮ ਡੇ ਗਿਲਟੀ ਫੀਲ ਹੋਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਯੂ ਇੰਟਰਨਲੀ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਲਾਇਆ ਕਿ the moment you do something bad inside 100%. you lose self respect straight away.
You know ਮੈਂ ਨਾ like mentally ਕਾਫੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਵੀਕ ਰਿਹਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ and I used to get bullied as well. I couldn't do much about it. ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਡਰ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਮਤਲਬ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਨਵਰਸੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ I'm not confident enough to talk to ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਮ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਮੇਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ 'ਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੇਂਜਸ ਆਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਜਿਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਪੁਸ਼ ਕਰਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸੋਚ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਯਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ I don't want to be in that same spot again ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਬੁਲੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ like I want to make myself strong for that reason. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ 'ਚ ਕੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਆਈ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਕਸਿੰਗ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ like how has that changed you mentally and like are you more calm in like ਔਖੀਆਂ situations ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ
definitely more calm ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖਿਡਾਰੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ he's not really worried about showing off ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋ ਆਇਆ I just tell people you know you sometimes you see ਆਪਣੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪੀ ਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਦਾ like you can't ਸ਼ਰਾਬ this is your alcohol talking ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ he's confident in himself he doesn't have to tell anybody ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਂਦੀ I don't have to go around trying to fight everybody or prove a point. I'm not interested in that.
You're not loud when you're strong inside.
Exactly that. And like, what am I going to get out of telling you that my dakarda like, well, you don't care. I don't. No, who cares? But you know, you go out sometimes and you see someone on a sharab piti undi my dakarda oh khad hunda nahi but he will say you know the person. I know you very well, for example. But sharab pi ke badmash bandande, you know, as an athlete when I don't care. I haven't got nothing to prove to nobody because I'm confident in myself. And this is one thing we see in the kids. Some of them do get bullied in school, the ones that we teach. But when you do a bit of training, you automatically feel better about yourself, like you said earlier. And you begin to change how you walk. You know, some people sit like this, you know. I'm not saying but you become confident in yourself.
100%.
And that's what most of the battle is confidence. If you have confidence to walk, when you're 10 years old, you're not going to have a punch up with anybody. You're not going to have a fight. But confidence on how you talk, how you walk, and instilling that in a child is more important sometimes than teaching them how to fight. Teach them how to fight is a very rare occurrence. You know, 1 in a million maybe. But somebody says, swears at you, whatever. At least you can say, what would you say? And that makes a difference. You know, I put my head down and walk off and run off. They can do it again. But if I stand up to him once and say, would you say? Makes a very big difference. And that's what we try and instill in the kids as well. we know, for example, there's 50 kids at the Gurdwara. They're not going to become boxers. They don't like boxing. But we make it so it's fun for them to come and they enjoy coming. But they know how to fight if it ever comes. We tell them, if you have a problem in school, the first thing you do is tell a teacher. That's your first thing. You have a teacher who's like, this person done this or whatever. But my granddad was something, if the time ever comes, you should know how to fight. 100%. You should know how to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Not to go and pick on someone, but to defend yourself. And that's if I know I can't fight or I can't do anything, then I'm just weak, and people are going to pick on me. I'm an easy target. But if I know that at the end of the day, I can defend myself, then I haven't got no reason to be scared of anybody or try and threaten someone or you're not interested in that stuff because I'm tired. I've trained all day or I've done my thing, I do my bit. I've got training tomorrow, for example. I'm not interested in walking around giving it big man saying, people know. I haven't got to tell nobody, and that's what we try and teach the kids as well. You always be humble. A humble person. If you look at the top athletes, Jiti Kuna, Kabaddi player, Jiti Kuna. He's like one of the best stoppers ever, a British guy, he's like a family friend of ours. So he lives in the Midlands, not Kafi Dur, about 3 hours, whatever.
Yep.
He's not interested in telling people I'm Jiti Kuna or my wrestling karda. He was a British champion, he was one of the best Kabaddi stoppers ever. But he doesn't go around telling people because he don't care. He's humble.
He's done his part.
Because in sports, like in boxing, when you're young, everybody thinks, when you're 15, you go through puberty and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Every kid, every person thinks, my parents don't know anything, my friends don't, But when you go to the boxing gym and you get beaten up sometimes, and it's going to happen.
It
humbles you. Yeah. You realise, I'm not the person that I think I am. And that's why combat sports is very important. I'm not, again, I'm not saying every child should get beaten up. Yeah. But when you get beaten up, you realise, maybe I'm not as strong as I think. And like I said, I've got things to do. No one can do anything. We're just normal people. But everybody wants to go around giving it, and it's the opposite. But when the problem comes, they're not going to do nothing.
Yeah.
The confident person, he doesn't look for a fight. He doesn't go around looking for a fight, but he knows if the time comes, I can defend myself.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਬਾਕਸਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਕਲੱਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ, you get punched down a lot of the times and it humbles you. ਇਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀ you just have to learn to accept the loss. That's what it is, I think, in my opinion. ਕਿ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹਾਰਨਾ ਸਿੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ.
You're going to fall down, but you have to get back up again.
And it's more like that, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਨਾ ਕਿ you are holding that, I would say, it cyclones inside you, that energy. It's like passive aggression.
Yeah, exactly.
ਕਿ ਮਤਲਬ I can do it, but I don't think I need to do it yet.
That's right.
ਤਾਂ ready ਰਹਿਣਾ, it's a different
story.
Yeah.
Different story. And like I said, you change how you walk.
Yeah.
You change how you carry yourself. And that's very important for young kids.
And how easy is for you to switch? Like, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ calmness ਦੇਖ ਰਿਹਾ. When you go to the ring, like, do you just click in or?
You have to listen. It's a weird one. It's like fight or kill or be killed in a way.
Okay.
If I don't do nothing, he's going to beat me up. And I don't want to get beaten up. That's life.
Yeah.
It's a fight. And everything else is talk. That comes to light.
Yeah.
I can say my ball meant kitti, but it's going to show in the ring. I can't. In the boxing, they say you can run, but you can't hide. You can't hide in the ring. You can't hide in the ring. You can run. You can do this. You can do that. But you're going to get found out. And
if you have done the training or not.
If you've done the training, and if you, a lot of the time it's not even training. It's who has the belief, and that's the hardest part sometimes. The mental side of it. Going into the ring, you go through a lot of demons, as they say.
Yeah.
But if you've done the work and you've religiously done the work, and I don't mean religious in part is very important. That's a separate side of it.
Yeah.
That's your mental side. But if you've done your training properly and regimented, then you have nothing to fear. But again, the training's one side. The mental side, I do my part every day. Sometimes sitting alone and doing your part, or going for a run and just clear and being on your own is probably more important than training. everybody trains, but who's mentally ready? Who's actually ready to think? You know what? Again, it's not even about fighting. It's about who's mentally ready that I'm going into a fight. I'm going into somebody who, listen, you can die in a boxing ring. One punch, back of the head is dangerous.
One punch, We've heard of one punch.
Yeah, you can die. So you got to be ready to accept that, and you got to be willing to accept that, and you got to think, you know what? It is what it is. It's the life we chose, and we go ahead with it. I'm not saying we should die. I hope no one dies in the boxing ring. It's not nice on anybody. But that's the kind of mindset you should have.
Acceptance of that.
I always say, we do Dear Shiva Barmo here. The last line is Jab aapki aud mein daan bane athiran mein tab joojan baro. That when the time comes for this life to end, in the Quran it says, may I die fighting courageously on the battlefield. But the battlefield isn't necessarily a boxing ring. The battlefield is life as well. Doing the right thing. I can die walking down the road today, but at least I know I've done some good things. If I'm किसी ने चोरी किया or like किसी ने लुटिया or किसी ने खोया, then it's not really an honourable way to die, is it? It's not a courageous way to die. But being strong, living a positive life, helping people, supporting people, that stuff it stays on forever.
You said being alone is like part of the preparation.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
How do you prepare like mentally, like fighterly? Does you prepare करते हो?
So on a day to day, in the morning, I'll brush my teeth, whatever. I do my part every day. It takes about 25 minutes.
Anji.
But that's basically sitting alone, doing my part. No phones, no whatever. Because otherwise, we're always on our phone. You wake up, you check your phone. You're driving, you check your phone. In bed, check your phone. Whatever, you're always checking your phone. But those 20, 25 minutes, no phones, obviously. We do my part. Then we go training, we train hard 2 hours. And we come home, we eat, we try and eat good. We rest. And sometimes maybe I'll go in for a walk in the evening. Just listen to a bit of music or, think, whatever. But you go for a nice walk in the evening, 20 minutes, half an hour. It don't have to be 2 hours or 4 hours. Even 20 minutes is enough. Just spend some time to think about what you're doing or what I've done today or what I've done in training or training went well or it didn't go well or this happened, that happened. And then, that's like Monday to Friday. I teach the kids at the Gurdwara. That's a very important part of my life. It breaks up my week. I meet the kids. I really enjoy training the kids. I meet their parents. Some parents say to me, मेरे मुंडे ने मारे चढ़ के मारे हो किसी TV ਦਾ remote literally when he's watching TV ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੋਲਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦਾ he starts shouting so I have a little go at him because he's only a 10-year-old kid but it means more if I say it than if his parents say it because he's not going to listen to his parents
ਦੂਜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਜਦ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ
exactly so that's an important part of my preparation and then I'll go Gurdwara a couple of times a week I'll just sit there again on my own listen to Kirtan but that's all part of my preparation and eating food again I'm lucky I don't really drink and stuff so I can get away with having a bit of unhealthy food sometimes but generally speaking we are quite strict on what we eat baduni khana like chocolates crisps I don't really eat them anyway but we limit them and that's all part of a preparation to fight because if you cheat sometimes it's weird like you won't necessarily understand people don't understand but like if I've cheated in training when I'm about to go in the ring I'll think about it. I think, what, I wish I'd done that. Because now it's fight day. It's fight. I'm about to go in the ring in 5 minutes' time. And you think, and that's the worst kind of regret to have. But you only learn that through experience sometimes. You can't sort of tell somebody. When you experience it, then you think, what, I don't want to have that feeling again.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
In exams.
Exams as well.
Even that's the more common one everyone knows.
Yeah, even like ਆਪਾਂ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਝੂਠ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਜਿਮ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ but your mind knows ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ confidence ਚ ਉਹ ਦਿਖਦਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ self confidence ਤਾਂ ਗਿਰਨਾ ਹੀ ਆ because you didn't do what you said you're gonna do.
Yeah, definitely.
ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੂਜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਇਟਸ ਲਾਈਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸਿੰਗ ਯੋਰਸੈਲਫ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ and you don't turn up and then we do the same thing tomorrow you don't turn up and third day I'm not going to trust you ki Inder ne da hona nahi and I think same way it's like when you promise yourself aj main gym jana and you don't do it you lose your own trust
exactly that
same way come
and you kind of sometimes you go into a spiral of like just something I'll give you an example when I'm not training and I've just had a fight for example we asi ganda khayana we're going to not ganda that's not a bad word to say but we just eat takeaway because I'm not training I've just had a fight we're just enjoying ourselves. But then we always say to me, kal to I'm going to eat healthy. Today comes, kal to I'm going to eat healthy. but tomorrow never comes.
Never comes.
You know, it's the same. I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're enjoying ourselves. You know, I want to eat food again. I want to go here. You know, but we always put it off to tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. But when you know you've got to do something, you have to do it, and you have to be strict about it. You have to be regimented.
मैं ना पब्लिक स्पीकिंग क्लब ज्वाइन करा सी पहला टोस्ट मास्टर्स क्लब आई डोंट नो इफ यू हर्ड ऑफ इट सारे कंट्रीज 'ਚ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਆਲਮੋਸਟ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਵੈਸੇ 2-3 ਸਾਲ ਲਾਏ ਉਦੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਕੌਨਫੀਡੈਂਸ ਵਧਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਆਪਦੇ ਆਪ 'ਚ ਲਾਈਕ ਆਈ ਸੈਡ ਬਿਫੋਰ ਮੈਂ ਕੌਨਫੀਡੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤੇ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਦ ਟਾਈਮਸ ਮੇਰੀ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਪੀਚ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਸਪੀਚ ਦੇਣੀ ਆ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਦ ਟਾਈਮਸ ਆਈ ਜਸਟ ਕਾਲ ਇਨ ਸੇ ਸੌਰੀ ਮੈਂ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਐਂਡ ਆਈ ਵਾਸ ਕੰਪਲੀਟਲੀ ਫਾਈਨ ਬਟ ਮੈਂ ਮੈਂਟਲੀ ਵੀਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ
that's it that's what getting into the ring, half of it, more than half is mental. Mental battle. Like I said, going into the ring is the same as, for example, speaking in front of a crowd. It's the same thing. Pretty much.
Yes.
You know, but you have to have the confidence to do it, because if you've mentally beat yourself already, then you can never do it.
Then you're lost.
What's the next mountain, Paji?
4th of October.
What is it?
I'm fighting for a big fight. It's in Manchester for the WBC. So the WBC is like the green belt. It's like the biggest belt in the world. WBC Asia. That's 4th of Manchester. It's against the Pakistani boy. There's going to be a bit of a
There's more pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
ਜਦੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਐਦਾਂ, do you still get scared?
Yeah, I'm not scared, nervous.
Okay.
Everybody gets nervous, you know, even when you're getting into the ring, you're nervous, but you have to channel that nervousness and you have to use it, you know, because it makes you perform better in a way. If you're not, if I don't care about something, I don't respect it. If I'm not nervous, then I just take it easier. Oh, don't worry about it, you know, just go whatever. But if you're nervous, it makes you train harder. You got to use that nerve. You know, you can't be scared, but you got to be respectful of your opponent, thinking that, you know what, he's here to do a job as well. Or you know, you got to respect that, because if you don't, you're not going to win. And it's part of your preparation. Again, I'm not going to sit there thinking, oh, I don't really care about him. But I'm training hard because I know,
ਪਰ ਉਹਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਲੜਾਈ ਲੜ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਵੱਡੀ, ਵਿਚ ਇਜ਼ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕੰਪਨੀਜ਼ ਨੇ, ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਲੜ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਵਾਲੀ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਆਪਣੀ ਉਹ ਅਟੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਐਲਗੋਰਿਦਮ ਹੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨ ਹੋਇਆ, ਲਾਈਕ ਵੀ ਵਾਂਟ ਟੂ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਐਡਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਲੈਵਲ 'ਤੇ ਹੀ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ। ਅਤੇ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਕਰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹੇ ਤਾਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਾਰੀ ਫੋਨ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰੀਏ ਨਾ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਨਾ ਆਇਆ ਹੋਵੇ। ਅਤੇ ਦੈਨ ਹੋਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀਕ ਬਣਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੱਚੇ ਪੋਰਨ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਨੇ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵੀ ਈਜ਼ੀਲੀ ਅਵੇਲੇਬਲ ਆ, ਲਾਈਕ ਇਟਸ ਫ੍ਰੀ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਜਸਟ ਗੋ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਐਟ ਹੋਮ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਲੜਾਈ ਲੜ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਲਾਈਕ ਵਾਟ ਵੁੱਡ ਯੂ ਐਡਵਾਈਸ ਟੂ ਯੰਗ ਚਿਲਡਰਨ ਗੋਇੰਗ ਥਰੂ ਦਿਸ, ਮਾਸਟਰਬੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ?
You know, like it comes down to living a strict life. Like I said, a lot of people, like the phone, everybody's addicted. Like we spoke about earlier, we're all addicted to our phones in a way. It's so easily available. Like everything, not just bad things, but like I said, the algorithm, if you go on TikTok or Instagram, whatever we like cars, we're going to keep seeing cars or whatever, you know, and it's hard, but you have to, you know, when I was younger, my dad, obviously, just like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we didn't really have iPhones because there wasn't about, we had phones, but I wasn't allowed to take my phone upstairs. So after 9 o'clock, I had to leave my phone, or 10 o'clock when I went to sleep, 9:30, I had to leave my phone downstairs. But looking back, that's the best thing ever, because it teaches you discipline, teaches you, you know what, people say they can't sleep, and I always say this to people. People say, and I keep looking at my phone. I say to them, leave your phone downstairs, or put it in your parents' room or whatever, and then watch you fall asleep.
ਉਹਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਆਊਗੀ ਫੋਨ ਦੀ।
No, but ਨੀਂਦ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ, because you've got nothing to do. Your brain's racing.
It's like out of sight, out of mind. You know, if you can't see it, obviously you're not going to be.
There's nothing actually, like, if we actually think about it, we watched something on TikTok last week. Do you remember? Do you remember what you watched? I don't remember.
No.
But in the moment, it's just, you got to realise it's just, it's greed in a way.
Yeah. And also ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿ ਪਿਛਲੇ 5 ਸਾਲ 'ਚ ਜੋ ਮੈਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ, ਹਾਊ ਉਹਨੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਨੂੰ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕੀਤਾ। And if it's zero, then why we should still do it?
Social media has a lot of positives. Like, for example, us. What we're doing now is social media. It's like using social media, but we're using it in a positive way. But like I said, when you're young, you just flick through stupid things and do stupid things, and you know it's hard for parents because they can't constantly watch your phone. But there needs to be some sort of, parents should, like, you know, not give phones to everybody, not give phones to when you're certain age, or things like put your phone downstairs before you go to bed.
Yeah.
There's no need for a kid to be on a phone, like going to school at 8 o'clock, but he's on his phone at 1 o'clock because he's just texting his friends or being stupid. You know, it's not right, but it's hard. When we was growing up, necessarily we didn't have phones or iPads, but nowadays that's all kids have. You know, so I don't know. When I've got kids, I don't know what I'm going to do, but maybe we'll come back in 10 years' time and we'll do a podcast.
We'll do a podcast right here again.
Well, yeah, what about it? Inder? UFC ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ?
You know what, my brother loves it. I don't really watch UFC.
You don't watch?
I don't watch it. I don't really, I won't say like it, I'm just not really interested in it. You know, for me, it's boxing only.
Yeah.
It's always boxing. It's always been boxing.
Change ਵੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ UFC's literally some of the matches we watched recently.
Yeah.
It's literally becoming WWE.
Yeah,
It's more like drama now.
Okay, I don't really watch it. I hear Kamzat, I think he boxed on the weekend.
We don't watch it as well.
Fair enough.
So, Kamsa, I did watch it.
On the weekend or something, but I don't really watch it. I don't really know too much about it.
Yeah. I mean, I watch UFC and boxing,
Yeah.
but not all the time, of course, just sometimes.
Boxing always for me.
Actually, I want to talk about masturbation as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're comfortable. Because ਮੈਂ ਖੁਦ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਐਡਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਫੇਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ and it's just ਮਤਲਬ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਵੈਸੇ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ at that moment you probably enjoy it. It's just like social media. But then after that you just feel guilty. Confidence ਕੀ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਬਟ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਮਤਲਬ ਛੱਡਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਲਾਈਕ ਮੇਰੀ ਫਿਟਨੈਸ ਬੈਟਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕੌਨਫੀਡੈਂਸ ਵੀ ਫਰਕ ਪਿਆ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗੇ.
Definitely in life, look, it's the same as all things though. If you know, banda sharab peenda, drugs khanda, whatever.
Yeah.
When you stop doing it, you enjoy it in the moment, and sometimes if you drink alcohol, the trip lasts a bit longer. It might last 5 hours.
Yeah.
If you do drugs, it might last a bit longer or a bit less.
Anji.
But at the end of the day, it runs out, and then you realise, you know, but you can only realise an individual can only realise that for himself. If somebody told you don't do this, you're not going to listen until you
experience,
self-awareness.
That you know what I'm doing and what am I actually doing. I keep doing the same thing over and over again. You know, in Gordigan, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again,
expecting different results.
It's kind of the same thing. Now, as a person who doesn't drink, and I don't really try, I stay away from. Obviously, I don't drink, drugs, all that stuff. I don't, you know, masturbation, whatever. But for someone who like me who doesn't do it, we don't understand what it is that you're missing out on, if that makes sense. People say to me, well, why don't you drink, have a glassy, whatever. I'm 28. I've never touched it in my life. Why would I do it now? I'm not missing out on anything because I've never done it. But it's hard to get, once you're in it, it's hard to get back out.
I think naturally ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਕਿ we need some sort of addiction. ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ the mind ਤਾਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਨਾ ਕਿ
I'm not perfect, listen. We eat a lot of junk food. I'm always on my phone. That's an addiction, you know. Then again, but you know things like I guess it's not better, but you know alcohol and stuff, like I said, I've never done it, so I have a strong opinion against it. You know, on a sicky side, that's a whole different thing. But as a person, like, as an individual, I've seen the damages it's done through. We talk about alcohol and drug. You know, we all know someone, and I always say this, in our Panjabi community, we all know a family member who's passed away or ruined his family because of alcohol or drugs.
100%,
everybody knows one. As if we still drink, we don't listen. Like from a young age, even now, you know, parents drink with their kids, and I just don't understand it. Like I said, as someone who's never done these things, I just don't understand what it is. But it's something, because once you do it once, it's hard to stop. Like I said, listen, my family members drink. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not 16, 17, 18, 20, even 25 and just getting drunk. You know, you should work, be successful. Like, having a job doesn't make you successful necessarily. You know, people say, oh, Inder, I've got my job, whatever. But there's more to life than just having a job. You know, listen, everybody, what does that mean?
What does that
job?
mean?
Like, you're working for somebody. Again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you come home, you get drunk, you go sleep, you wake up, you do it again. That's literally what a lot of people that I know do. I know them personally. You know, we all know people who do that. They don't drink because they're sitting in their bedroom, but they might go out with their friends, go pub every day as a joke and laugh. But that's not a good life. You know, and you know, I don't know how to tell someone not to do it, because people say, "Who are you to tell me?" But you know, we can always refer back to Sikhi. That's the only thing that actually is eternal for us.
But if it was easy, everyone would do it.
But it's
you know?
not easy.
ਸੇਮ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਆਲ ਨੀਡ ਐਡਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਇੱਕ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਈਜ਼ੀ ਐਫਰਟ ਐਡਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਕਿ ਓਕੇ ਗਲਾਸ 'ਚ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪਾਈ ਪੀ ਲਈ ਨਾਓ ਵੀ ਆਮ ਇੰਜੋਇੰਗ ਇਟ ਬਟ ਇੱਕ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਚ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ ਯੂ ਨੋ ਔਰ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਜਿੰਮ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਾਂ ਇਫ ਯੂ ਰਨ ਲਾਈਕ 5 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰਸ ਔਰ ਮਾਈਲਸ ਔਰ ਵਟਐਵਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਡਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਉਹ ਹਾਰਡ ਐਫਰਟ ਐਡਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਨਾ you can choose your addiction but depends which one you want to choose.
Exactly. I read something just the other day that I think it was like the path to heaven feels like hell, but the path to hell feels like heaven. So you have to pick, it's hard. Listen, I'm guilty of it. You know, for example, when I'm not training or even when I'm training, I eat a lot of takeaway, for example, but healthy takeaway. But I still feel like I'm wasting money, first of all, and second of all, why don't I eat that? But it's just that's my bad thing. That's my addiction. Not addiction. I'm not addicted to it. And I don't eat like pizza or fried food or whatever. But for me, on a personal level, that's something that I always say to myself, you know what, I need to stop eating Nando's, for example, or like whatever, just because it's easy and, you know, you don't want to eat at home. But that's, for me, that's bad. For some people, that's nothing wrong with it. It's a good thing. But we always want to improve and be better. So for me, I'm always push myself to try and every little thing, be a better person than I was yesterday. And that's, I think, what it's about, you know. Nothing happens in a day कि आज किसने कहता शराब ना पियो, you ain't going to stop tomorrow. But you have to want to stop.
Yeah.
You have to take some sort of precautions, take some sort of make some effort towards your goal, for example. If my goal is to stop drinking, I can't just sit at home and drink every day and say, man, I want to stop. It's not going to work. I have to do something to slowly enable me to stop.
Yeah. Just thinking is not going to do it.
Just thinking.
Yeah. 100%.
It's not going to happen.
Nice, buddy. We had a great conversation.
Thank you.
And I think we feel lucky that we are doing this podcast stuff and we can sit down with people like yourself and
definitely.
And otherwise we wouldn't have access to, you know, people like yourself and talk like for about an hour. We spoke and the time went like
an hour,
so quick.
I thought it was like half an hour.
No, this is 57 minutes and
crazy.
Thank you so much for coming, taking the time, and especially the work you're doing for the community.
Thank you,
especially the conversation we had today. That's going to go out to the community as well.
Definitely.
And this is another part of this seva.
It can have some positive impact.
100%, buddy.
That's what it's about.
You impacted us positively, and then hopefully we'll take this from there.
The youngers as well.
Hanji. Thank you so much.
ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਵੀਰੇ ਬਹੁਤ